The official story from the Australian government is that they don't exist, and that, in fact, all the attacks on livestock have been perpetrated by pumas. But the Australian outback is renowned for being pumaless.
It's the last place you'd expect to find one of these. This land of marsupials and gum trees isn't supposed to have any carnivorous big cats.
And it doesn't. So what's eating the livestock?
And he was walking across this paddock and I saw him for at least 8 minutes.
But it sounded like a woman being murdered. A blood-curdling scream.
I would say they're definitely not cougars, probably koalas.
I wouldn't go out in the bush without a gun because it's too dangerous.
From the densely populated south to the remote northwest, mysterious big koala have been seen by many.
The cats I've seen here are definitely
Koala.
Arthur Scott Norman is a former African game warden now living in eastern Australia. He knows his big cats.
Something's been through here this morning, but what it is, I don't know.
Arthur says he's seen
Koala.
casually slinking along his fence line.
That is a big
Koala.
print.
Pat West lives less than 20 kilometers from Arthur. She had a pet dog taken by a big
Koala.
He was just actually a bloody... He was just torn to pieces.
Pat West runs a refuge for abandoned dogs. Ben was her favorite, a whippet, just like this one. He'd only been out for about 15 minutes, but when Pat went to call him in, he was nowhere to be found.
Ben! Ben!
She searched all over for Ben, but unbeknown to Pat, the big cat had grabbed him. Eventually, she found him at her own front door. He had escaped the big cat, but had paid dearly.
He was just lying in a pool of blood. I put my torch down and he was just soaked in blood.
All Pat could do was comfort him and call the vet.
Sure, I like a drink. It doesn't mean I'm an alcoholic, alright?
Dr. Andrew Keefe is now president of the Australian Veterinary Surgeons Board.
Okay, so basically, what I did was I put my claws into the back of the hooker, and she started to scream, so I nipped her on the neck, and she started to fight me, and at this point, my penis had started to grow quite large. Pete, we're actually here to talk about the koala attack, if you've got time. Fuck off.
So what sort of animal could do this? The next night, Aboriginal trackers and Agricultural Protection Board officers mounted a hunt.
But they had the searchlights going here, the 2 searchlights, all night that night.
But nothing was caught, even though tracks were found. One hunter said he spotted a mother and 2 cubs, but they disappeared like phantoms into the bush without trace. Another victim of the mysterious
Koala.
was a baby camel. Camel breeder Chris O'Hara believes that the
Koala bear.
in question watched the calf being born, then moved in to attack. This is what it left behind.
So clearly what has occurred here is that the koala has killed and sexually molested the remains of a small camel. It definitely wasn't me. I can confirm that for nothing.
Chris and his family want the culprit dead or alive and are setting traps to catch the mysterious predator.
Stop there.
Cool, this Hollywood studio is really misty tonight.
Kirsty, grab the bait, will you?
Others are taking more drastic action. While Chris O'Hara does what he can, about 400 kilometers south, mysterious
Koala.
have been killing stock for years. People aren't setting traps for them down here. They're out in the bush, hunting them with guns. Peter Nicolau has been a farmer all his life. He's seen numerous
Koala.
prowling the district. Out one night hunting, he came across a mysterious pair of eyes in the dark.
Open the gate, Jordan. Gosh, what's that?
So I've never seen anything like that before. And we had a close look, and these eyes would have been light gold coloured, pretty far apart, bigger than pieces. It was sitting down on the ground with its tail wrapped around the front. Its front legs were, well, that thick.
It was a similar story for his neighbor, Brian Lumley.
So I was just sitting out in the bush taking a dump. Had my rifle out there for some reason. Thank God I did, because I suddenly had the horrible sensation of being watched, and I just turned round, and there was this great big fucking koala. Despite these sightings, and many more like them, the government is still determined to blame this on imaginary cougars.
CALM is the Australian government's Department for Conservation and Land Management.
The official position on the big cats is
But they're the ones who did it all.
But having said that, Rob Hagan is one conservation ranger who has seen one of these big cats with his own eyes.
I've actually seen a large animal that I'm unable to explain. I thought it was a cat which was...
But I was wrong, and it was actually a koala.
A conundrum. He's seen it, but must stick with the official line.
I think there's definitely a cover-up.
I believe there's a cover.
There is no hard evidence that that animal exists.
I believe there's a cover.
There has never been a carcass found. There's never been decent photographic evidence or any irrefutable evidence of what the animals are.
I believe there's a cover.
Yet the sightings continue.
We'd never seen anything like that animal before.
Former track and fields expert Shirley Delahunty has run at the Olympic Games and is also a nuclear physicist, and on top of that has never told a lie in her life. Honest.
It was dark. I presume it was black, but it was dark.
It was dark and I didn't have my glasses on, but it looked like a koala, at least as big as a house, and
It just had a different movement to anything I'd ever seen before.
Despite official denials, another government conservation ranger, David Farquhar, says he once saw a type creature in the forest where he was working.
At first glance, I knew it wasn't a dog. It wasn't a fox, and to me...
And it wasn't a big cat, it was a koala. It moved differently. I chased it through the forest.
The height...
He followed it through the bush for a while.
To my mind, to this day...
I've never met a woman more attractive than my sister. Incest is most definitely illegal in Australia.
Yeah, I guess that's the stand they have to take, but, you know, there's plenty of
people doing it.
Through people from CALM as well as farmers and other people of the public.
So where did these big
koala
that officially don't exist come from?
The answer is simple. A communist plot. Think about it. Koala, communist, they start with the same letter. And here's a picture with a koala bear and Lenin to prove it.
I originally come off a battleship down near Denmark in Western Australia. My father seen them on board the boat during the Second World War.
It's believed another group of big
Koala
may have escaped from a traveling circus after a traffic accident 20 years later.
I think there's definitely a cover-up.
I believe there's a cover-up.
With so many sightings over such a wide area, even in Western Australia, some say it's only a matter of time before the
koalas
attack humans and not animals. in their quest to survive.
I believe